Hello, everybody. My name is Jose Prado, Amendment Survival, and I wanted to come and talk to you guys about what's going on in Virginia. Okay, I want to touch bases because more things have developed since the last video I made. Okay, and I think everybody that watched it, it makes me happy to see people are watching my videos, and hopefully I can bring you the information that you want, the information that you need, and the things you can do to prepare for them. Okay. I thank you for that, for those views. Please like and share the videos. You know, if you like them, please share them. We have a Facebook page as well, Amendment Survival. We post a lot of articles on there that could relate to survival. You know, if you look at them through the survival lens. Also, please like and share that page with your friends and family. And we also have other platforms that we're in, like Apple Podcasts and such. Okay, so if you don't like watching YouTube, then we're on the other ones as well. And tomorrow we're gonna upload the podcast that I did that talks about Civil War. Okay, what we're gonna talk about today is gonna have more things that we show, videos that we show in there. So I encourage you to go in there and watch it tomorrow. You know, hopefully you like this video and it'll encourage you to watch the others. Okay, but let's get started. All right. We know that in Virginia, this past few months, weeks, whatever you want to call it by now, by the time you watch this, that Virginia enacted gun confiscation laws, right? Or at least gun control laws. And a lot of people, they just wanted to not listen to it, and they created sanctuary cities. Actually, the sheriffs came forward and they said, you know what, we are not going to listen to your stupid unconstitutional laws, and if we have to, we'll create a militia to fight these if we have to. Because the governor, his name is Ralph Northam, he was threatened to call the National Guard on those sheriffs and the people that wouldn't comply with the gun laws. Okay, so excuse me, as we see, those things have been developing and they have increased, and the whole mindset of civil war is lingering everywhere, especially in Virginia. Okay, I have an article from Zero Hedge. It says Localism in the 2020s, Part 1. The Second Amendment Sanctuary Movement. Many of you probably have heard of the Second Amendment Sanctuary Movement, which consists of municipalities and counties across the U.S. passing resolutions pledging not to enforce additional gun control measures infringing upon the rights to bear arms. The current movement traces its origin back to Effingham County in southern Illinois, which passed a resolution in April 2018 calling the county a Second Amendment sanctuary, essentially to vow to ignore gun control legislation proposed by Illinois state lawmakers. This particular tactic gained traction not just within Illinois, where 67 out of 102 counties have now passed similar resolutions, but throughout the country. And that is very true. This is where it started. Then it went to Virginia. I know Colorado has a few, it has counties. Texas has counties that they have called for sanctuary cities or counties, counties. The movement started gaining more attraction over the past couple of months, following the blistering movement it found in Virginia after Democrats won the state legislature in November. As of this writing, 87 out of Virginia's 95 counties have passed such resolutions, and it's important to note note that virtually all of them were passed in 2 months since the election. In other words, this is happening at a very rapid pace. And it is true. Not only here, but not only Virginia, but other counties as well, other states. And I'm gonna put a picture here in a second of a map that shows all the sanctuary counties, so you can get an idea, okay, how big this movement is getting, and hopefully it'll get a lot bigger. All right, That said, it's important to note when it comes to something as serious as this, municipalities and counties vow to refuse to enforce state and federal law. The only thing that really matters, listen to this, the only thing that really matters in the end is how the public actually responds when and if the rubber meets the road. Are people willing to make major sacrifices like going to jail? That's ultimately the most important variable in the end. What sort of fortitude do these local communities really pose on this issue, and how many are willing to engage in genuine acts of civil disobedience and sacrifice if push comes to shove? We simply don't know, at least not yet. We do know that people have talked about it, militias have come together, they have grown, okay? But they point out something very interesting, is that the fact that this sanctuary movement, or at least in the counties, they're just calling for resolutions, but those resolutions are not legally bound, or as far as ordinances go, okay? As of right now, this governor, Ralph Northam, he has more of an authority to say this is what's going to happen with the gun confiscation, the gun control, because it's legal, okay? That he has the legal higher ground, as opposed to the counties that are saying that, they're just calling for resolutions. And it has been stated that resolutions is just more like an opinion that's going on, on an issue that you think that's going on around you. So it's not legally binding. So this is what this article is talking about, okay? When push comes to shove, will people really make the sacrifice of going to prison for 5, 10, 20, 30 years, or losing their lives, okay? Now, it'll eventually get to this point where it'll be, do we proceed and fight, or do we stand back and take it, okay? And on a previous video, I made the point, if the militias do come up to where the governor is, okay, City Hall or whatever it may be, okay, and they demand that he gets fired, or they demand that he's taken away from his position in government. But then at the same time, if the governor does call the National Guard, and the National Guard comes and they're guarding him, protecting him, will there be a standoff between the two? Okay, if the patriots, the people of the Second Amendment, if they don't do anything about it and they just go back home, the governor won and he gets to do whatever he wants, as it looks like it's happening. Or will the National Guard stand down, okay, remembering their oath to protect the people? We don't know that yet, and we hope it never comes down to that, and I hope that governor can be taken off the position. Even bigger picture, the Second Amendment sanctuary movement should be seen as a manifestation of a core trend I expect to grow considerably in the decade to come: localism. That people driving the movement are petitioning Washington, D.C., or even their state house. Instead, they're looking to their friends and neighbors and taking a unified standard to local level. Simply put, they are attempting to take matters into their own hands as opposed to begging a distant authority figure. This is in large part why their actions seem disordered and unsophisticated. These are just regular people saying enough is enough, and in this case, the line in the sand happens to be firearms, and that is very true. The people of Virginia, Illinois, Texas, Colorado, those are everyday people, okay, that probably have never engaged in an actual political matter, but they have said enough is enough. I think that they should all come and do like a crowdfunding and get a lawyer, okay, for two purposes. One, to go over there and fight them on what they're doing with all the gun confiscation, okay, and two, to give consultation pretty much on a mass or some sort that tells them how the rights are, or what the process they need to take in order to take these resolutions and make them into actual law-abiding ordinances, okay? That way, this governor does not have the more high ground, saying, well, this is an actual law that has passed, through the approval of your constituencies. So therefore, they should get a lawyer and really look at how to make this as legal as possible. Like I've said before, we don't want to break the law. We don't want to do anything stupid that'll take you to prison for a long time or even make you lose your life. We should try as much as we can to fight this in the courts. Okay, I know one day it might come down to having to do your duly. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Your duty as an American citizen to protect the Constitution. The Second Amendment is part of the Constitution. Okay, this is why we're talking about this, because it's very important. They're trampling on the Constitution, on the Constitution. All right, now that this whole sanctuary thing has been going on, the governor Northam, okay, he's getting ready to arrest people, and we heard that he called for an 18-person gun confiscation force. Okay, and that sounds ridiculous, but he's starting to turn people against its own people. Okay, he's trying to see which of those sheriffs he can count on. That way, he can say, okay, you go over there and get their guns, you go over there and get their guns, or put them in prison, or all of the above. Okay. It is very sad to see that they're using the police force to do this. Okay. Now, Virginia setting stage to jail gun owners, the NRA lobbyists say. This from WND.com. The lobbying arm of the National Rifle Association is warning that Virginia Governor Ralph Northam is setting the stage to jail gun owners. A new statement from the Institute for Legislative Action, the lobbying arm of the National Rifle Association, in the Daily Caller, bluntly warns that Northam increases corrections budget in anticipation of jailing gun owners. As your Virginia Governor Ralph Northam wholesale attack on law-abiding gun owners wasn't enough, the disgraced public official and his Michael Bloomberg-bought allies in the General Assembly now want the state's hard-working taxpayers to foot the bill for their unconstitutional schemes. The budget bill, HB 30, include an appropriation of $250,000 to carry out a host of gun control measures the Northam and his anti-gun allies hope to enact, the ILA explained. And this is the same Michael Bloomberg that is running, that is running for the presidency for the Democratic ticket. Okay? And $250,000 is a lot of money. Okay? That $250,000 is appropriated to the Correctional Special Reserve Fund in order to provide for the increase in operation costs of adult correctional facilities resulting from the enactment of Northam's gun control measure. Among the enumerated law that is allocation is meant to fund in a ban on commonly owned semi-automatic firearms, the criminalization of private firearm transfer, and gun confiscation orders issued without due process. And that is exactly what is going on. Because, as we know with the red flag gun laws, first they take everything you own, and then they give you a court date. And that could be forever and ever, amen. I mean, it might be a year down the road, and if they catch you with any firearm or doing anything that may give you a felony, now you can kiss all of your guns goodbye, okay? Now, Northam can use him for his shooting range, okay? Now, he took it a step further. Besides, let's see. He wants to call the National Guard to come and confiscate guns. He's appropriating funds for people to be put in prison for a very long time with felonies, mind you. Okay, but now I think this that has happened recently is more like a middle finger to everybody in Virginia that stood against him. Okay, and this is the reason why. Virginia ban on woods and backyard shooting. This from ncrenegade.com. A bill to amend the Code of Virginia by adding Article 3 of Chapter 12 of Title 18.2, a section number 18.2-511.2, relating to outdoor shooting ranges. Relating to outdoor shooting ranges, prohibited adjacent to residential areas, exceptions, civil penalty. Refer to Committee for Courts of Justice. Section A. As used in this section, outdoor shooting range means any particular enclosed area in facility designed for the use of rifles, shotguns, pistols, silhouettes, skeet, trap, black powder, or any other similar sport shooting. Section B. It is unlawful to operate an outdoor shooting range within 500 yards of any property zoned for residential use unless the range design criteria developed by the U.S. Department of Energy, Office of Health, Safety, and Security have been met. Section C. Any person who violates the provision of this section is subject to civil penalty of not less than $1,000 nor more than $100,000 for the initial violation and $5,000 per day each day of violation thereafter. And that is just insane. And this is the reason why I say this is the middle finger to all the people in Virginia that stood against the governor. Because for one, he's taking your ability to just shoot your gun in your property if you lawfully can already, according to your county ordinances and whatnot. Okay. But not only that, he's making sure that you cannot use your rifles, you cannot use your shotguns, you cannot use your pistols, you cannot skeet shoot, you cannot trap, black powder, whatever. Now, they went from semi-automatic to any gun at all. So, and then with that being said, the only one shooting ranges, and that also includes indoor shooting ranges, okay? For civilians or whatever. They also want to take those away, and only the shooting ranges that host the police force, they're the only ones that they are allowing. But not only that, if you do happen to go, they want to keep track of everything you're doing there, your phone number, your photo ID, everything. And this is the most crazy part. Not only are they willing to take your guns away, throw you in jail, but they also want to economically bankrupt you, okay? Because no more than $1,000, no less than $1,000, but not more than $100,000 either for the initial violation, and 5,000 days after that. So I'm sure that if it's up to them, it would be $100,000 per person, and they know that most people, if any at all, can pay that much for such a violation each time they get caught or whatever, okay? So what are your thoughts on this? Because that last part to me was a very clear middle finger to the people of Virginia by the governor, okay? And I'm pretty sure you can agree with me on that part. Now, why it's important for us to talk about this, and for you to take notice, even if you don't live in Virginia, is because if it's not already in your state, it can come to your state. So if its ugly head is sticking out of the sand in your state, you can just go ahead and whack it. Whack it, get rid of it before it even gets a hole in the door or a foot in the door, because this can happen in your state too if you're not careful. If those laws are not already in place or they're not being talked about, then you need to go ahead and get as many people as you can and fight it legally. Okay, like I said, we don't want no violence. We're talking about courts here. Sue the governor, sue everybody in the legislature, that they, go to town hall meetings, do everything you can. If these laws have not been stated in your state or in your city, whatever it may be, fight them tooth and nail. So what are your thoughts on this, okay? This is why people keep saying that this will lead to a civil war, because the first article that I gave, it said, would people really do it once, the rubber meets the road, would they do it? they won't have no choice. If they really want to hold on to the Constitution, they will have no choice. They're being pushed that direction. Okay? The people of Virginia are not asking for this, or anybody else in the country. It's the lawmakers doing this to them. So we cannot just sit by and just take it, because they'll take all the other liberties away from us. Okay? So think. Be courageous. Take pride in your Constitution, because it's very precious. And with that being said, please listen to the podcast that I'm going to publish tomorrow. We're going to go more into depth into the whole impeachment thing. And we're going to show videos and articles and all that good stuff that we always do. And we hope you like it. Please share it. Please subscribe. Please help us grow, because I want to give this information to everyone. And you know, the better, or the more, the bigger the audience, the better, you know, so this work can be distributed throughout every platform. Like, we're here on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Apple Podcast, and most of all the other platforms out there. So we encourage you to look us up. If you don't like YouTube, you can look us up in other ones. And if you can find us in one, let us know, and we'll try to sign up and get our videos shown on there. But again, thank you very much. Please help us out. Like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And again, looks like tough times are coming, but if we all pull together as Americans, we can get through it.